This is such a unique and much needed Godzilla action figure. Does Super 7 nail it with this Biollante figure, or is it unfortunately another overpriced figure with some problems? Let's open it up, check it out, and of course do some toy photography. So, one of the most unique Godzilla, Kaiju, villains, whatever you want to call them, in my opinion, is Biollante. This movie is so cool, and it's definitely one of my favorites out of the older ones that I've been catching up watching in the last few months. And Super 7 has made a really cool, as far as I can tell, action figure for it, and I'm pretty excited about it. So, Super 7 really seems to be taking their Godzilla stuff pretty seriously lately. They've been putting out a lot of different figures, you know, this Ultimates line, some of the smaller ones, and I saw their like setup that they had at San Diego Comic-Con. I wasn't there, but I saw some videos and it looked crazy. So that makes me quite happy, especially hearing all the unfortunate stuff that happened with Super 7 with, you know, all the tariffs and stuff lately. So I'm just happy to see really cool figures like this still coming out. And with this figure, man, I can't wait to shoot this thing. This is such a cool looking figure. And in my opinion, this is definitely the cooler form of the different Biollante forms that are in this movie. You know, this isn't the final form, but this one is, in my opinion, a bit cooler. I love the big flower face, and it still feels more like a kaiju instead of a big wolfy dog thing, in my opinion. And I've only got one other Super 7 Godzilla figure, and it was the -1, and I actually was a little bit impressed with it. I was expecting less out of it, but it's still a pretty good looking figure. But the thing is, this figure is about $80 or so, which, you know, if you wanted to get a Hiya Toys figure, you know, you're gonna be paying maybe 60 to 70, and then, you know, of course, you got the SH Monster Arts, which are way more than this, so this is somewhere in between. And as far as I'm concerned, there hasn't been a lot of figures of this specific form of Biollante in a while, at least. Hiya hasn't done one at all. Yeah. So if you do want to pick this figure up, I'll have a couple links in the description to pick it up. If you're ever looking for figures and you can't find them and they're sold out, I always recommend heading over to Whatnot. It's a really cool app. It's basically like eBay, but it's 100% just for collectibles and this kind of thing. So I always recommend going to Whatnot. If you use the link that I've got in the description, you save 15 bucks on your first purchase, which is pretty sweet, and it's a cool app. You never know really what you're gonna find on there. So I always recommend Whatnot. Either way, I'll have as many links in the description for this guy specifically as well. And of course, if you're into Godzilla, I've always got so much Godzilla and Kaiju related content coming in the future, like more Pacific Rim, some newer stuff. And then of course, just recently I got in the 1991 Godzilla vs. Ghidorah figure from Hiya Toys, and I'm very excited about this one. This is a version of this character that I don't have yet, and this is just gonna be something that's very exciting. So of course, if you're into this stuff, I definitely recommend subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. Very grateful, and you won't regret it, right? Right. So do you have any of the other Super 7 Godzilla figures? Are you a fan of them? Like, are you actually preferring them over some of the Hiya or SH Monster Art stuff? It's kind of cool seeing some different things that they aren't putting out, but Super 7 is, you know, just getting the variety and competition is great. You know, it's the best kind of thing for us consumers, right? And I've got this guy. Very excited about this guy. So here is the figure, and it does look really cool. Like, just the figure alone and just the character design itself is enough for you to be like, wow, look at this freaking thing. But this is where I think, you know, Super 7 figures are overpriced. They really are. I mean, sometimes. A lot of the things in this figure look really good. The paint looks good. The sculpt is really great. There's accessories, but I think just some of the quality in the plastic, especially in the joints, are just not up to the standard I think that their figures are priced at. They're just not. And I'm not gonna say that this is a bad figure, because I think it's really cool. It's just, man, all of these arms are articulated, which is really cool, but like, this just keeps coming out. The plastic itself just kind of feels cheap when I move it around, you know? It just doesn't feel like it should be an $80 thing, you know? I mean, it's big and it looks cool, but it's just, I don't know. Like, there's articulation here, and when I try to move it, it's not like, there we go. It's cool. I mean, all of these arms, the fact that they're articulated is great. It's got so much potential, but that's the only thing right now so far that's kind of pulling me out of it. And look at that. It's just, oh, come on, Super 7. I'm always batting for you. Dang it. And so the figure is a little bit lighter than I expected. The inside is pretty hollow. Oh, this is squishy. That's cool. And the thing is, I don't think this is really bad. I don't. I think it's really cool. It's just 80 bucks. If this was 50, then I'd be like, you know what? That's cool. 50 bucks, but I don't know. Haya, if you do one of these, man, this will be quite the comparison, that's for sure. So as far as just the detail alone, I think it is very cool. Like the sculpt in like the big trunk torso area is great. And like I said, like this is squishy and it's that nice little orange. If it lit up or something in the middle, that would be super cool. And I think the face looks amazing. Like I think it looks really amazing. And the paint on the leaves is pretty cool. It's not like, there's something almost a little cartoonish about the way it's painted. And oh, that keeps falling out. That's frustrating. And you know, all the little piranha plant hands are open. Like it's really cool. I think the detail is awesome. There's still some visible seams here and there. Like that's definitely a Super 7 thing. There's the visible seams you can see here. So I do want to make sure I cover that. And like I was saying, there is some articulation here, which is cool. Every single one of the leaves moves. Okay, maybe the small one doesn't, but these do. And you can move them up and around. They pop out easily though, which is the frustrating thing. The head moves a little bit, and the torso does too. You can actually move the torso around, which I was not expecting. Every single one of the tentacles moves. Like the ones with the heads have like chomper articulation here, and there's a couple different points of articulation that you can move around. I think each one of them has 3 different points. These little just vine ones, they just move like this. They don't have any other points in it. If they were just functional a little bit better, I think this would be a really cool thing to pose, but unfortunately it just becomes a little bit frustrating. So I'm not really doing a whole lot of posing with it because of that exact reason. But Venom seems to think it's kind of cool, or maybe he's just in a good mood. I think it's that one. But man, I really want to like this thing. It's just a little bit annoying. See, that's just like falling down. He does come with a few accessories though, which is a bit more than most Godzilla figures come with in general. So he comes with an open mouth face, which is cool. It's a very heavy thing. It's very, very heavy. I'm not sure if I like this one more. I feel like I might want to use this more. And then he comes with a couple different interchangeable mouth hand thingies that are broken. So you should be able to just pop this out like that. Oh, there we go. So now he has a piece that's broken off. So if you want to have like one flying off in the air and like Godzilla's mouth or something, you could do that. And that's kind of neat. These are probably ones I won't use, but it's definitely a cool touch to have that. There's not a whole lot of difference between this sculpt and the other one, but it's a cool thing to have, you know? All right, this guy's pretty tall. He is, what is that? 8 inches or so? Yeah, he's like exactly 8 inches, right at that little tip. But I'm sure, you know, if you wanted to do this, 10 inches or whatever. But I would say he's around 8 to 9 inches Venom. So here he is compared to the Super 7 Godzilla -1 that I was just talking about. I think this figure is pretty cool. I can't wait till Haya does one, but I think the figure is pretty cool. And I would say it definitely scales, even though, you know, obviously they're from different movies, but I think it definitely scales quite nicely. So I accidentally filmed this comparison completely in slow-mo, but this is how he looks compared to the Haya toys. This is the Godzilla versus Kong Godzilla from Haya toys. They still compare pretty good. And this is an SH Monster Arts, the 1972 Godzilla. He's way smaller. Oops. Hello. And I really love this figure. Way smaller, doesn't quite scale, but they look cool. He looks actually so cute next to him, doesn't he? Look how cute he looks. And then just for kicks and giggles, this is the Gypsy Danger Ling Jahun from Pacific Rim. And you know what? I've always been thinking that these guys have been scaling way too big with the Haya and the Monster Arts, but with Super 7, I feel like they kind of scale well, which is interesting, and I kind of like that. That's good to know. All right, well, what are we giving this Super 7 Biollante? I mean, look how cool this looks. Should I give it a W or should I give it an L? I can't give it a W. I can't. If you're charging $80 to $85 for an action figure, I don't think these types of little things are acceptable. I think this is unacceptable. It's okay if stuff like this is a little cheap. Look at that. Come on, come on. You saw that? So if this was like 50 bucks, you know, it's got the extra stuff, it looks good. I might be a little bit less critical and excuse some of those, you son of a gun. I would excuse some of those issues, but I can't at this price point. I really can't. So I'm not gonna give it an L either because I think it's really cool. I think it looks awesome. I think it's a very unique action figure. Like, I know Haya hasn't done one. Has Monster Arts done one of these? I'll have the future version of myself let us know if they have. I can't give it a W or an L, so I'm gonna give it an M for mid. I think it's mid because it's cool. It's really cool. It looks awesome. On the shelf, this is just gonna look sick. But with all these issues, that's not cool. Super 7, I think this might be the first M I've given you. I've given the other ones W's. Let me know what you think. I feel like a lot of people might just say L. I usually get a lot of criticism about Super 7 in the comments, and that's fair. If you give it an L, that's fair. I would love to know what you think. Or do you have this figure? Maybe I'm just the odd person, and I've got an unlucky copy of this, and it's not so bad on the other ones. You know, sometimes it happens. Let me know what you think. Is it a W, an L? I'd love to know. But I gotta take a toy photo of this guy. Some toy photography is imminent, and I would like to do something really cool, like how it looks in the movie with the lake and stuff like that. And I don't know, maybe I can find a spot at People's Island where that can work, but that will be pretty fun. I definitely want to take a photo with this guy. Okay, so you might be familiar with this location. Whoa, I've come here many times. That little ledge right there, I often will put buildings up there for photos. I did a really cool V for Vendetta photo down there, but there is a way for me to get all the way down there. And there's a lot of cool spots in there that I think will be perfect for him. So I'm gonna head down there and see if I'm able to do it. There's some really cool looking spots down there that look awesome. All right, here we go. Wow, it's so great down here. I need to come here more often. This is so perfect. I'm telling you, if you ever are thinking, man, I wish I had cool spots around me for toy photography, you know, I bet you do. You just gotta explore a little bit. There's so much out there. You just gotta explore. I'm telling you. Okay, so I'm all set up. I've taken a few test shots. I actually am glad I took the shots. So the sun is just going down. So the sunlight has kind of ended there. So I'm kind of in the shade right now. So I think I might end up going with the test shots I took. But I placed them down here in this little pool of water. And the background is just so cool. Just like, look at that. How freaking cool is that? I need to come here more often. Like, that just looks so freaking good. So this is what I'm looking like in camera. My shutter speed was at 3200. F-stop is 2.8, which I kind of still like it being nice and low. You can see my reflector in the background. ISO is at 400. But really what it comes down to right now is the angle and everything. Like, I've got just enough little bit of water in there. The sky is so blue. I'm just so happy with how cool and crisp the water is. And there's a nice little reflection on the water. So I got a few with the water moving around, and without it moving, you can see more reflection. It's pretty cool. I'm really enjoying myself right now with all this stuff. I'm just kind of splashing a little bit of water around and getting that really cool angle. I'm gonna come here way more often for Godzilla stuff. This is such a great kaiju area. So good. So I'm just gonna try a couple more things, see what I can do. I might end up going with that one shot again already, but I think I've got myself ready to go. I think I'm all good. I'm just really excited about this spot. I can't wait to come back here. But yeah, holding my light reflector, using my remote, splashing some stuff around, and that'll be it. So let's just go take the shot. Alright, let's do a quick post-photo breakdown. It'll be a very quick post-photo breakdown of Biollante over here in the big giant waters that are actually the small waters. And I actually ended up going with a photo that had a much different setting than what I discussed earlier with the, the lower f-stop at 2.5. I cranked it up to 6.3 and then lowered the shutter speed to 800. And I think that helped a lot. It really just crisped up everything around the figure, and I didn't really need it to be so low because the distance between the figure and the background is just so far. So I'm gonna get a blurry background no matter what. And I think it came out great. Everything looks very crisp. Honestly, I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, that doesn't even look like a toy so much. Like, which is very rare when I think that. So I'm very happy with it, and I'm so happy with that location. But this is the before and this is the after. There's not a lot. I really just brightened up some colors. I made the sky nice and blue. I actually made the water less blue because I like that contrast more. But I did use the generative fill over here in the left-hand side. For some reason, this little section right here just looked a little off to me, so I just used the generative fill right there. And I was kind of wishing there were some clouds because the sky just looked a little bit boring, so I did use the generative fill and add a tiny little bit of clouds. Other than that, that's it. It was just one photo. I'm very happy with it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give me some critiques as always, and yeah, let's just run the end of the video. So, an amazing kaiju unfortunately gets a very disappointing action figure. I guess it's better than having no Biollante figure at all. I'm still happy I have it, I guess. But if you did enjoy the video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. This photo is, of course, going to be posted up onto Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of that stuff. If you want to follow my work on any of those platforms, it's all linked in the video description below. And thank you for watching and getting this far into the video, and I hope to see you in the next one.